One of the first things is to be compassionate, of course, and to try to talk to people about the why behind the behavior. I know it can be frustrating for both parties involved. The one thing I would say definitely not to do is to throw away other people's stuff. That
Oh, that's
is
important, yeah.
people will get to the point where they're really stressed out and fed up, or they think they're helping, which is great, but they don't realize that by throwing someone else's things away, they've actually kind of broken that trust. And then it makes it that much harder for that person to get help again in the future because they're just really afraid that someone's going to come in and toss away everything. So I definitely say stay away from that. And the biggest thing that you can do is keep your area organized. And if you have your own clutter, it can help to be an example by clearing up your own clutter. And it kind of filters in through just osmosis almost. People will look at that and start to tackle their own projects just based off of seeing how something really turns out to be great once it's been decluttered in one area.
Oftentimes, people who are organized end up with people who are not organized, and vice
Mm-hmm.
versa, right? What do you
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about that? Do you find that a lot? That couples are often very opposite
I
in terms of
do.
organization?
I do. And I find it on both sides. I find it where couples have found each other and they're both really struggling with clutter, which I find amazing, like how they found each other, because it's not something we typically ask when we're dating. But a lot of times there are parties, and it becomes even more friction when one is organized, quote unquote, more organized than the other person, and it can create a lot of stress and frustration.
The
Um,
organized one is always telling the other one to clean up, right?
Right, right. And there's varying degrees of it. It can just be a mild frustration. It can get to the point where it's divorce if it's hard enough that they can't deal with it anymore. There's also different styles of being organized. So
Yeah.
the people might have the same level of organization, but if they have different styles, it can be conflicting. So there's ways to find compromise. Some people might need everything cleared off the tables and put away behind cabinets, and then you open up the drawer and it might not be organized, but it's behind something, whereas other people need it out to be able to see it and remember it. And there's a way to work with both those styles so that people
Wow.
can compromise and get what they need. It's all about compromise.
Well, that's interesting because then you can work differently with the two people in the couple, right?
Well, you have a discussion with both of them and figure out where they're willing to budge and work with each other and come up with a solution that they both will be okay with. And it's typically one solution, unless we're talking different rooms where only one person
Right.
has access,
Your
not
room,
has
my
access.
room.
Right,
That
and
would be
maybe
ideal.
common areas we have to keep in such a way. But if you've got your tools in the basement, or you've got your your sewing, or your all your artwork in another area, and only you are in that room, then it's okay. We just need to especially keep the common areas in a way that works for both people.